Hello everyone. Welcome to Children's Liturgy with the Church of St. Mary of the Angels. Let us listen to today's Gospel passage.
Jesus began to read the words of the prophet Isaiah to the people in the temple. The Spirit of God is with me, and He has sent me to bring the good news to the poor. I have come to bring freedom and to show people a new way. After Jesus had finished reading from the scriptures, He looked up at the crowd who were listening and said, "Everything you have heard is coming true today, for I have been sent to bring the good news to the world." The crowd grew angry when they heard this and said, "Surely this is the son of Joseph, the carpenter. He has no right to say such things." And they dragged him out of the temple and away from the town, but Jesus slipped away before they could do him any harm.
How did you feel as you were listening to today's Gospel passage? Did you feel that all those people were very silly not to listen to Jesus? Why did they behave like that? I was thinking, if I were alive at that time and listening to Jesus while he was preaching in the temple, I'll listen to him for sure. Were you thinking the same thing? But is that really true? Would we have listened to Jesus and believed his message if we were right there in the temple listening to him at that time? Have any of the following happened to you before? One of your siblings tells you something, but you don't believe him or her. But if a friend confirms the information, you believe your friend instead. Or when your mother or father gives you some advice, but you refuse to believe them or heed their suggestions. But when your teacher says it, you do it. Do these situations seem familiar to you? They do to me. For it happens more commonly than we think, that we often do not listen to and believe the very people who are familiar to us. Oddly enough, when someone we are not as familiar with tells us something, we tend to believe them. But this means that we have behaved like those people in the temple. They did not believe Jesus when he said that he was sent to bring good news to the world because they were too familiar with him. They knew Jesus as their neighbor, the local carpenter's son, the boy from their village. They found it hard to believe that Jesus could be someone special enough to be a messenger sent by God. What can we learn from this? How can we make sure we do not make the same mistakes those villagers did? How can we be certain we do not reject Jesus by not listening to his messengers? How do we separate the good news from the fake news? The answer is this: you need to know Christ very well. And to know Christ, you need to, number one, talk to Christ often. Pray. And number two, know the good news so well that you can clearly tell when you see fake news. In other words, read the Bible and watch children's liturgy videos to help you understand gospel passages. You see, it's like the examples I quoted earlier. If your brother comes to you and says, "Mommy says we can play on our phones for the whole day while she's out." But if you talk to your mother and know her well, you will tell him, "I don't believe you. Mommy will never allow us to spend so much time on our phones." This will save you both from getting into trouble with your mother if you succeed in getting your brother to not spend the entire day on his phone. Or say, you are in school and come across your classmates arguing over school rules, what is allowed and what isn't. You will be equally confused and not know which classmates to believe and what to do. Unless you have read your school handbook and know the school rules stated within. If you know the school rules well, you will know at once what is not true, no matter who says it. So the same goes for us followers of Christ. If we know Jesus well through prayer and through knowing His Word, the Bible, it will make us very familiar with God. It will open our minds and hearts to Him. And once we do that, we will find that we will learn to listen to the messengers of God because we recognize Jesus in the hearts of those people around us. In doing so, we will feel the love of Jesus through these messengers of God because we will stop rejecting them. We will not make the same mistake those people in the temple did, rejecting Jesus and His messages. Do you want to accept Jesus and listen to His messengers? Or do you want to reject Him and His messengers who bring good news of love and salvation? The choice is yours. I choose to know Christ well and accept Him and His love. I hope you do so too.